Good evening, students.
Good evening, ma'am.
So just 1 minute, we will start. Just 1 minute, we will start. ಮತ್ತೆ ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ join ಆಗ್ತಾರಾ wait ಮಾಡೋಣ. So we are going to start with the new topic. That is motion in a straight line. So just 1 minute, we will wait. Then after that, we will begin with the class. I hope you're able to see the file. Our next topic, that is motion in a straight line. So motion in a straight line, college will complete again.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So if it completed, then we can just see the summary and we can go with the question answers mainly. What about others?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So still students are joining. Okay, so motion in a straight line after completion of the physical world and the units and measurement. Let us start with the third topic, that is motion in a straight line. So in the motion in a straight line, first now what is straight line motion ಅಂತ study ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. Motion ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಂತ study ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. What is the cause for the motion? Then next types of different motions we will study. Then here mainly we will deal with some of the terms like distance, displacement, speed, velocity, acceleration, types of velocity, speed, and then next that is velocity time graph. The main focus of this lesson is velocity time graph. So velocity time graph in the more equations and derive ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. So let us start with the class. Mechanics. So what is mechanics? Our physics is having different branches. Like we have optics, we have thermodynamics, we have electrostatics, we have electrodynamics. Then we have magnetism. We have that is modern physics, solid state physics, nuclear physics. So ಇದರ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಬ್ರಾಂಚಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಬ್ರಾಂಚ್ ಯಾವ್ದಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮೆಕ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ. So in the mechanics here we will study mainly about the bodies under the motion. So the branch of physics which deals with the bodies under motion is called as what? Mechanics. Okay, the branch of physics which studies the motion of the body is called as mechanics. So in mechanics again we have the sub branches. So mechanics and mat classify ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ statistics ಅಂತ classify ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, kinematics ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, dynamics ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. So see one by one the definitions. Statics. So statics andre it is a branch of mechanics which deals with the study of physical bodies at rest. Which bodies at rest is called as statics. Kinematics. So what is kinematics? So in the kinematics here we will study about it is branch of physics which deals with the study of motion of physical bodies without taking into account the factors what causes the motion ಅಥವಾ which causes the motion ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. So kinematics ಅಂದ್ರೆ kinematics ಮತ್ತೆ dynamics ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು study of the bodies under motion ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. But the difference between kinematics and the dynamics is kinematics here we will not see what is the cause for the body ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಯಾವ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎದ್ರಿಂದ ಬಾಡಿ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, that is not mattered in case of the kinematics. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಫೋರ್ಸ್, ಈಗ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಓಕೆ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ kinematics. Vehicle is moving because of the acceleration which you are giving to the vehicle, that is called as what? Dynamics. So kinematics ಮತ್ತೆ dynamics ಗೆ ಏನ್ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ here both are study of the bodies under motion, but kinematics here we will not take into account the factor what causes the motion, but in case of dynamics yes it matters why the motion is occurring. ಆಯ್ತಾ? So motion ಮತ್ತೆ rest ಅನ್ನೋದು ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ರಿಲೇಟಿವ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ರಿಲೇಟಿವ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೇನು? ರಿಲೇಟಿವ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಇಫ್ there is no presence of, for example, light and the darkness, lightning and the darkness, these are the two relative terms. Lightness and the darkness, ಅಥವಾ ಲೈಟ್ ಅಥವಾ ಡಾರ್ಕ್ನೆಸ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೇನು? ಸಿ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಎಂಟರ್ ದ ರೂಮ್, ನೀವೀಗ ಒಂದ್ ರೂಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಂಟರ್ ಆಗ್ತೀರಾ, ಲೈಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಪ್ರೆಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಲೈಟ್. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಪ್ರೆಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಲೈಟ್, ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ದ ಡಾರ್ಕ್ನೆಸ್. ಎಸ್, ಸೊ ವೆನ್ ಯು ಸ್ವಿಚ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಲೈಟ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ದ absence of the darkness occurs. So the absence of darkness is called as what? Light here. Correct. So ಈ ತರ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ಏನಂತೀವಿ? ರಿಲೇಟಿವ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಹಾಟ್ನೆಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕೋಲ್ಡ್ನೆಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಬಾಡಿ, ಹಾಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕೋಲ್ಡ್. Yes. So if the object is not hot, either it will be cold. Howda? If the object is not cold, then it will be hot. So the absence of one, it is called as the presence of the other one. Same way rest ಮತ್ತೆ motion ಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. Either the body will be under rest, otherwise it is in the motion. If the body is not changing, if the body is not changing its position, with respect to time and the surrounding, with respect to time and the surrounding, body position change ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, that is called as rest. What is motion? If it is changing, position change ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ with respect to time and the surrounding, it is called as the motion. Yes, so not changing, rest, changing, it is called as the motion. So for example, here one more example we can consider. For example, consider I am standing in your classroom. Okay, so I am standing here, you all are sitting in front of me. Yes, so when the class is going on, for me you people are at rest, for me you people are at rest. Suppose I am moving here and there and I am teaching, then here with respect to you people I am at under motion. Yes, but even I am standing at one position, you people are sitting at one position, this is rest here. So with respect to we both are at rest position. But what about the earth? You know that earth is continuously revolving. So when the earth is continuously revolving, along with the earth, even we are also revolving with that. Yes, so with respect to earth we are under motion. With respect to we both, that is we are at rest here. So rest and motion are the relative terms anta helbodu. I hope this much example is enough to understand the rest and motion concept. Next, types of motion. So we have different types of motion. In that we have the first one is one dimensional motion. ಈ one dimensional motion ಗೆ rectilinear motion ಅಂತ ಕೂಡ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. So what is one dimensional motion? So one dimensional motion means if the object is not changing its direction, it is moving only along one particular direction. If the object is moving along with only one particular direction, it is called as what? Yes, that is, it is having only one axis anta kuda helbodu, that it is following only one axis, either x or y or z. So that is called as what? Rectilinear motion or the one dimensional motion. Yes, here you can see the example, the motion of a freely falling body. So for example, if you are standing on the top of the building, I'll consider that, oh, you are throwing an object. Okay, so I'll say that object you are throwing, I'll not say you are throwing any friend or you are falling down. ಆ ತರ example ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಬೇಡ. So I'll consider of the building, you are throwing one ball ಅಥವಾ ಏನಾದ್ರು paper ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಒಗಿತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ. ಅವಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, the body will move along the straight line path. Yes, so this is one example. The motion of a train along a straight track. So ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ, the train is moving only one particular direction. So this is also example for the one dimensional motion. Correct? So one dimensional ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ obviously the next one will be the two dimensional motion. Yes, so two dimensional motion and the three dimensional motion. See, if there are two axes, so ಅದನ್ನ one axis ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ವಿ, ಇದನ್ನ ಎರಡು axis ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. That is, if only two out of the three coordinates specifying the position of the object changes with respect to time, then the motion is known as what? Two dimensional motion. Then the motion is said to be two dimensional motion. The example for the two dimensional motion is the motion of planets around the sun, a car moving along a zigzag path on a level road. So these are the example for the two dimensional motion. So two dimensional motion andre ishte ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, that is we are using both the coordinates to specify, that is x and y. So idralli whatever the motion is there, that we will study under these two coordinate system, that is called as two dimensional motion. Next is three dimensional motion. So what is three dimensional motion? So three dimensional motion alli all the three coordinates we will use. three-dimensional motion, we are using all the three axes with respect to time, then it is known as what? Three-dimensional motion. So two-dimensional motion example nodidvi, three-dimensional motion example nodi. The motion of aeroplane in space, the kite flying a windy day. These are the two examples for the three-dimensional motion. Next, we have some of the terms related to this motion in a straight line, that is point object. So ಈ lesson ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಸಲ ನಾವು point object consider a point objects ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. So what is point object? See, an object can be considered as point mass if during the course of motion it covers distances much greater than its own size. ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಸೈಜ್ ಗಿಂತ ಅದರದೇನ್ ಮೋಷನ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫ್ರಮ್ ವಿಚ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಟು ವಿಚ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಟ್ರಾವೆಲಿಂಗ್, if that is greater then it is called as what? Point object. So here you can see an object can be considered as a point mass if during the course of motion it covers distances much greater than its own size. That is called as what? Point object. So now we physics alli consider a body, consider a point object, consider a point mass. Yes. So these all terms we will use, but to use that we have specific rules. In that point object, when you can use, when there is a motion is greater than the size of the body, then it is said to be point object. Okay. Next. So the very important terms in this lesson, that is called as the position and the distance and the displacement. So motion, ನೀವು ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯ motion study ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ everything start with these terms only. So see here, position of an object is always defined with respect to the some reference point which we generally refer to as the origin. So position ಅನ್ನು ನಾವು ಯಾವಾಗೂ position ಹೇಳಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಮಗೊಂದು specific point ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. Okay. So that specific point, it is called as what? Origin. For example, in this whole day you have traveled around 8 kilometers. So to tell this, whatever the motion of your body it is there, what is the reference here? That is from your home to your college. That is, for example, if it is 4 kilometer, again from college to home it is how much it is? Again 4 kilometer. That will be total, it will be 8 kilometer. Yes. So you are measuring your distance traveled in complete whole day from your home. Your home is like the origin. It is a reference point anta helbodu. Yes. Or else suppose if you are having the vehicle in a day, how much kilometer you are traveling, that all we can measure it. The reference point will be from the origin. So origin will be your home, hostel, wherever you are. Yes. So this is regarding the position. Then next we have the distance here. So what is distance? See, so everybody knows now what is distance. It is the actual path traveled by the body during the course of motion. So the actual path length traveled by the body is called as what? Distance traveled by the body. The actual path length. So distance ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು path length ಅಂತ ಕೂಡ describe ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. The actual path traveled by the body is called as what? During the course of motion is said to be distance. The SI unit of distance is meter, and dimensions formula ನಿಮ್ಗೆ already ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ. Distance ಇರ್ಲಿ, displacement, radius, diameter, then next length, breadth, height, ಇದು ಯಾವ್ದು ಬಂದ್ರು ಕೂಡ we will consider the dimension as L to the power of 1. So L to the power of 1, m raised to 0, t raised to 0. So what about the displacement? So distance and displacement, mathematically these are equal, but physical meaning is different. So what is the difference here? Displacement and the difference between the initial and the final point at the helper. So displacement is defined as it is the difference between the initial and the final point. Yes, that is For example, consider one triangular motion. We will just consider one triangular motion of the body. So this is A, this is B, this is C. Okay. Here between the A to C, between A to C, what is the total distance traveled by the body? Suppose this is 2 kilometer, this is 4 kilometer, and this is 5 kilometer. Yes. So how we can go from A to C? One is what? One we can go from A to B, B to C we can travel, or else we can go from A to C directly. So whatever A to C you are taking the path, this is called as the displacement. Isn't it? Displacement anta ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. Whatever you are traveling from A to B, B to C, this is called as what? Distance traveled by the body, or it is also called as path length. It is also called as path length. Okay. So distance and displacement. So distance will be 2 plus 4, that is 6. Displacement will be 5 meter. Here we can write the difference between this distance and displacement. Yes. So first now definition and tagobodu. Distance is what? It is the actual path length traveled by the body or actual path covered by the body. Displacement is what? Displacement is the shortest distance between the initial and the final point. Shortest distance between the initial and the final point. Second point regarding distance and displacement. Second point is, so I'll not say it as a difference, comparison anta ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. So both are measured in terms of meter. Third one, the dimension formula for both, it is m raised to 0, l raised to 1, t raised to 0. This is also m raised to 0, l raised to 1, t raised to 0. Then fourth one, the distance. So whatever the distance is there, it is a scalar quantity. Matte displacement anna vector quantity anta ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. So scalar quantity, vector quantity. Third, fifth one, that is distance is always greater than or equal to displacement. So distance ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಗಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಥವಾ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ ನೆವರ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಲೆಸ್ ದನ್ ದ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ. Same way with the displacement ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, it will be less than or equal to distance. One more point about this one is, distance is always positive, ಆದರೆ displacement ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, sometimes it is positive, sometimes it is negative, sometimes it is zero also. So zero ಗೆ ಯಾವ್ದು example ಕೊಡ್ಬೋದು? For example, if you are traveling from your home to college and from college to your home, so the distance traveled by you, suppose it is 4 plus 4, distance will be 8 kilometers. What about the displacement? It will be 0. ಹೆಂಗೆ ಹೇಳಿ? Initial ಮತ್ತೆ final point ಎರಡು ಸೇಮ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ the displacement value will be 0. The displacement value will be 0. Okay na? Same way, if it is a circular track, if the object is moving in a circular path, then here the initial point and the final point, if it is same, then the displacement value will be, again it is 0, but the distance will be circumference of the circle, that is 2 pi r. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ನೋಟ್ ಡೌನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂತ ಹೋಗಿ, then it will be helpful for your MCQ solving. So this is regarding the distance and the displacement comparison. So when it will be 0, when it will not be 0, that we have seen. Can go for the next point. So here we have the difference table. Whatever we have discussed, same only here we have. Let us not see that again. Let us go for the next point. Speed and velocity. Yes. So what is speed? What is velocity? Here, the speed is defined as speed andre yav ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Speed is nothing but with respect to distance we will define. ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ when you divide the distance traveled by the body with respect to time. So distance ಮತ್ತೆ time ಗೆ ratio ತೆಗೆದಾಗ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನ್ ಸಿಗತ್ತೆ? You will get the speed. You will get the speed of the body. Okay. So speed is nothing but what? The ratio of the distance or the path length traveled by the body with respect to the time taken. What about the velocity? Velocity is the displacement with respect to time is called as the velocity. So speed is a scalar quantity, velocity is a vector quantity. Then speed is always positive during the course of the motion, and velocity it is maybe positive, negative or zero during the course of motion. So speed ಮತ್ತೆ distance ನಾವು compare ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. So speed ಮತ್ತೆ distance ಎರಡು scalar quantity ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Both are always positive. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲೇನ್ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಸೇಮ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. Okay. So this is regarding the speed and velocity. Next we have the acceleration. So what is acceleration? See, acceleration is nothing but the rate of change of velocity is called as what? Acceleration. ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ for example ನೀವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, from your home you will start the vehicle. So when you will start the vehicle, so starting ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, we will not give more velocity. So ನಾವು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಏನು accelerate ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ. Initially it will be little slow. But after traveling some distance, when you are approaching to your destination, slowly whatever the velocity is there, that will increase. So till you reach your final destination, initial ಕಿಂತ final ಹೋಗೋ ತನ ಏನ್ changes ಆಗತ್ತೆ, that change in velocity with respect to time is called as what? Acceleration. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? So for example, suppose if you have initial velocity, ನಿಮ್ದು vehicle u ಅಂತ consider ಮಾಡಿ. So you from your home you are giving the velocity u and you are moving some distance. So after traveling some distance, the final velocity is v. Then change in velocity ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಬರೀತಾರೆ? So ಯಾವಾಗೂ change ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? Higher value minus lower value ಅಥವಾ final value minus initial value. ಹೌದಲ್ಲ? So change in velocity is given by what? V minus u divided by time. This will give me acceleration. This will give me acceleration. Yes. Therefore, acceleration is equal to what is the formula? Acceleration is equal to v minus u divided by t. Then the same equation can also be written as at is equal to v minus u. ಅಥವಾ ಇದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಮತ್ತೆ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಬರಿಬಹುದು? ಇದು ಮೈನಸ್ ಯು ಇದೆ, ಆ ಕಡೆ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಯು ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. It will be u plus at, that is equal to v is equal to u plus at. Correct? So this is regarding the acceleration. ಆದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವಾಗ ನಿಮ್ದು ಫೈನಲ್ ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ ಗ್ರೇಟರ್ ದೆನ್ ಇನಿಷಿಯಲ್ ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ನಿಮ್ದು acceleration value ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. Reverse, when your initial velocity is greater than the final velocity, your acceleration will be negative. Correct? How? See here. For example, initial velocity 2 ಇದೆ, final velocity 3 ಇದೆ. ಆವಾಗ ನಿಮ್ದು acceleration ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? v minus u. 3 minus 2 divided by time is equal to ಹಾಗೆ ಇಡಿ. So it will be 1 by t. Correct? So ಇದೇನ್ ಬಂತು? ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಬಂತು, ಏನ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. Suppose I have the initial velocity as 5 and the final velocity as 4, then the acceleration is given by 4 minus 5 divided by time. That is the negative answer we are getting. So this kind of terms it is called as what? Retardation ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. So ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಕಲ್ತಿರ್ಬೋದು ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ. ಇದನ್ನ ನಾವು ರಿಟಾರ್ಡೇಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, or it is also called as deceleration. It is also called as deceleration. So acceleration opposite. So to confuse you, what they will ask, that is what is the unit of the retardation. So So retardation agli acceleration agli unit and change agala. Unit will be meter per second square baratte. Only the thing is what your answer will be plus or minus. Okay, other than that dimensions aitu athwa unit aitu both will be same. So the unit is what, meter per second square, and the dimension is m raised to 0, l raised to 1, t raised to minus 2. Next, scalar and vector. So what do you mean by scalar and vector quantities? So school al kuda kelobru kaltirtira. Otherwise, let us see here what is scalar and vector quantity. So scalar quantity means which is having only magnitude. So for example, if you go to shop, when you are purchasing something, you will just specify the quantity. You will just quantity here, you don't specify the direction, correct? So such type of quantities are called as what? Scalar quantities. But when you are saying some quantity along with the direction, then it is called as what? Vector quantity. Yes. For example, time. So time ಹೇಳಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಾವೇನ್ direction specify ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ, therefore it is a scalar quantity. But when you are measuring the displacement, so displacement in ಯಾವಾಗೂ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, shortest distance ಅನ್ನ ತಗೊಂತೀವಿ, shortest distance. So when you are taking a shortest distance, it means that ಅದು positive direction ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, negative direction ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. Therefore the displacement, velocity, these are all vector quantities. So you can see some examples for the scalar and the vector quantities written over there. So mass, length, time, distance, speed, work, temperature, scalar quantity, vector, displacement, velocity, acceleration, force, momentum, and torque. Okay, so scalar quantities denoted by the letters like ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದೇನ್ symbols ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅದನ್ನೇ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ತಗೊಂತೀವಿ. ಬಟ್ ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಡಿನೋಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ the vectors are having the arrow mark over the letter. So force ಅನ್ನು ಬರಿಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಈ ರೀತಿ, acceleration ಬರಿಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ displacement ಅಥವಾ velocity, momentum p is equal p to the power, torque. Yes, so we will represent it with the arrow mark over the head. So just to differentiate between scalar and vector quantity, one then is just a symbol in the ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, vector quantities ಅನ್ನ arrow mark over the head we will denote it. Next, so here we have the types of speed and the type of the velocity. So actually ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ type of speed ಅಥವಾ type of velocity ಅಲ್ಲಿ 4 terms ಅನ್ನು ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ. But the 3 terms are very simple here. That is, one is called as the uniform speed. Uniform speed ಅಥವಾ uniform velocity ಕೂಡ ತಗೋಬಹುದು ನೀವು. So as the term indicates, uniform. So uniform ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, that is, for example, if you consider A point and the B point. So ಈ A ಮತ್ತೆ B point ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವಲ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ತಗೊಂತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ 2 ಮೀಟರ್ 2 ಮೀಟರ್ 2 ಮೀಟರ್ 2 ಮೀಟರ್ 2 ಮೀಟರ್. ಸೊ ಇದೇನಾಯ್ತು, ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವಲ್ ಆಯ್ತು, ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಸೊ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವಲ್ ಇದೆ. ಈ ಫಸ್ಟ್ 2 ಮೀಟರ್ಸ್ ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಪೋಸ್ ಇಫ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಟೇಕಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ 10 seconds. Next 2 meters 10 seconds. Next 2 meter 10 seconds 10 seconds 10 seconds. So speed and ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, distance traveled by the body upon the time taken. So distance traveled is 2, time taken is 10, therefore it is 0.2. Correct? So this is uniform speed ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ equal distance traveled by the body in the equal time interval, this is called as the uniform speed. Similarly, non-uniform speed. ಸೊ ನಾನ್ ಯೂನಿಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ಅಥವಾ ನಾನ್ ಯೂನಿಫಾರ್ಮ್ ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ. ಸೊ ನಾನ್ ಯೂನಿಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಹಿಯರ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಎ ಬಿ, ಆಯ್ತಾ. Here the interval of the distance will be unequal. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ 2 ಇದೆ, ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ 3 ಇದೆ, ಇದು 4 ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಇದೇನಾದ್ರೂ 2.5 ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, but here the time taken is equal, that is 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. Just as consider it as 2 minutes. Here first 2 kilometers it is traveling, first 2 meters it is traveling in the 2 minutes, next 3 meters in the 2 minutes, next 4 meters in the 2 minutes. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ವೇರಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಬಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಈಸ್ ರಿಮೈನಿಂಗ್ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಓಕೆ, so in some of the textbook they will give reverse also, that is equal distance traveled but unequal time interval. That is also called as the non-uniform speed. You can consider the vehicles moving in the traffic. So traffic ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, so whatever the time interval is there, so first 5 minutes ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ first 2 minutes ಅಲ್ಲಿ your vehicle is covering more distance. Next, if the traffic is more, your vehicle is covering less distance. So ಈ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, the unequal distance with equal interval of time or equal distances with unequal interval of time is called as what? ನಾನ್ ಯೂನಿಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ಅಥವಾ ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಬದಲಾಗಿ ನೀವು ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿಯನ್ನು ಡಿಫೈನ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದಾಗಿದೆ. This is regarding the second type. Third type of the, what you can say, the speed is, it is instantaneous. So the third type is instantaneous speed. So what is instantaneous speed? Instantaneous speed anta andre ಆ particular instant of time ಅಲ್ಲಿ where what is the distance traveled by the body ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, for example now whatever the time it is there, for example 5:40 5:45, at this time what is the position of the body ಅಥವಾ ಏನ್ distance travel ಮಾಡಿದೆ at that instant in the given interval of time, what is the distance traveled by the body will tell you about the instantaneous speed or instantaneous velocity. Then main we are having the average speed and average velocity. So ನಮ್ಮ questions ಬರೋದು ಇದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆನೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, average speed ಮತ್ತೆ average velocity. So average speed is defined as, so average speed is defined as, it is the total distance traveled by the body in the total interval of time. So the total distance traveled by the body in the total interval of time is called as what? Average speed. So just now I gave you example. For example, the distance traveled 2 2 2 2 2. Yes, so the total distance traveled is how much here? That is 2 into 5, that is 2 5, it is 10 divided by total time taken. So total time taken is 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10, it is 50, correct? So it is nothing but what? 1 divided by 5 meter per second is the average speed. 1 by 5 meter per second is the average speed of the body. Understanding? So idu average speed agutte. Average velocity alli enagutte? Total displacement upon the total time taken is called as the average velocity. Okay. Both are having the same unit, that is meter per second, and both are having the same dimension formula also, that is m raised to 0, l raised to 1, t raised to minus 1. So this is about the dimensional formula. So the next part is relative velocity. So last is relative velocity and the equation of motion. Okay, so relative velocity means what? The relative velocity of one body with respect to the another body is the time rate of change of relative position of one body with respect to the other body. Antandre, for example, enagta ide, consider in a railway track, two trains are moving parallel to each other. So parallel to each other andaga ಒಂದು that is one train is moving along this direction, the other train is moving along this direction. So this kind of velocity is called as what? Relative velocity ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, that is relative velocity of one body with respect to the another body is the time rate of change of relative position. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, with respect to time the relative position of both the trains, it is changing, correct, with respect to one another. It is called as what? Relative velocity. So relative velocity na ನಾವು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು? It is given by VA minus VB. ಎರಡು ಸೇಮ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ರೆ VA plus VB ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ಎರಡು ಅಪೋಸಿಟ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ರೆ we can take it as VA minus VB. Okay. If relative velocity is if the relative velocity is one dimensional motion, we can treat vectors as scalars just by assigning the positive sign to one direction and the negative sign to others. ನಾನು ಈಗಷ್ಟೇ ಹೇಳಿದೆ, that is VA same direction ಇದ್ರೆ plus ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, opposite direction ಇದ್ರೆ minus ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. And the last part is equation of motion. Yes, we have three equations of motion here. That is three derivation ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. Fourth one, this one we have just have the formula ಆಯ್ತಾ. Okay, so you can see ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, velocity time graph ಅನ್ನ consider ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. So velocity time graph, if you see that, so this is velocity time along x-axis, velocity is along y-axis. So suppose if the object, if the line is like this, it means that object is at rest anta agutte. Yes, so if the motion is like this, it is a linear motion. If it is like this, then it is a non-linear motion. ee taranu irbodu, yavade tara irbodu, correct? So now we learn ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ nature of graphs ಅನ್ನ study ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. To show the equation of motion of a straight line, we will consider the velocity along y-axis and the time is along x-axis. We will consider the O point and the A point. So the B point anta tagonತೀವಿ. We draw one perpendicular to the time axis, idanna BC anta ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. We draw one perpendicular to the y-axis, idanna BD anta ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. We draw one more perpendicular from A, that is called as E, to the BC line. Yes. So ನಮ್ದು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಫಿಗರ್ ಎಷ್ಟಿತ್ತು, ಬರೀ ಇಷ್ಟೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, A to B. ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, three perpendiculars, one from B to x-axis, B to y-axis, A to BC, correct? So like this we will draw the figure, the velocity time graph to show the equation of motion. So this is velocity time from O, A, B, this is construction C, this is E, and this one is D. So this is D and this is my velocity. Okay. So now here by using this graph, we will derive the three derivations. So derivation part we will not see, we will just see what is the equation here. Just labeling ide nanu niಮಗೆ ತೋರಿಸ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ. Here O to A, here O to A, it is initial velocity U. O to A, it is initial velocity U. ಆಯ್ತಾ. So O to A ಮತ್ತೆ CE ಏನಿದೆ ಸೇಮ್ ಇದೆ, therefore both are considered as U ಆಗತ್ತೆ. OC is equal to ನಾವು T ಅಂತ ತಗೋಬಹುದು. BC is equal to, ನೀವು ಫಿಗರ್ ನೋಡಿ, ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರಿತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ನೀವು ಫಿಗರ್ ಅನ್ನು ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿ simultaneously. So BC is considered as the final velocity V, ಆಯ್ತಾ. Therefore BE, so BC V ಆಯ್ತು, OCE V U ಆಗತ್ತೆ. Therefore BE will be V minus U. It is final minus initial. Okay. So by considering these all factors, we will derive the three equations of motion. The first one is, if we say the final velocity as V and the initial velocity as U, acceleration A and the time is T, and the distance traveled by the body is S. Aita. Now the equation of motion is given by V is equal to U plus AT, that is final velocity is equal to initial velocity plus acceleration into time. S is equal to distance traveled is equal to UT plus half AT square. Then V square minus U square is equal to 2as. The terms are carrying the meaning initial velocity, final velocity, acceleration, time and the distance traveled. Yes, I think everybody knows about this formula. So the distance traveled in the nth second, last formula, the distance traveled in the nth second is given by Sn is equal to u plus a by 2 2n minus 1. So ನೀವು ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗತ್ತೆ ಇದು ಯಾವಾಗ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನಮ್ದು ಎರಡು ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಇದೆ. ಒಂದು ಎಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು ಯು ಟಿ ಪ್ಲಸ್ half at square and one is Sn is equal to u plus a by 2 2n minus 1. So ಇದೇನ್ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಇದೆ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ. ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಇಟ್ ವೆನ್ ಎವರ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟಿಂಗ್ ದ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ವಿತ್ ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಟು ದ ಟೈಮ್. ನಾವ್ ಇದೇನ್ Sn ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ, this type of formula is used when they will give the distance traveled at 7th second, 6th second. ಟೈಮ್ ಅನ್ನ ಟಿ ಇಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು 6, ಟಿ ಇಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು 7 ಅಂತ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳಲ್ಲ, 2 ಏನೇ ನಂಬರ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅದು ಯಾವ್ದೇ ಟೈಮ್ ಇರ್ಲಿ. ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ದಿ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ಡ್ ಅಟ್ ದ ಟೈಮ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವಲ್ ಆಫ್ 6 second, then first formula, then ಈ formula. Calculate the distance traveled by the body at the 7th second ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? So when you see the numericals, you will clearly understand when you to use first, second formula, when to use the fourth formula in the column. Okay, Sn is what? Yes, n is what? That interval of time. Aita, u is initial velocity, a by 2, 2n minus 1. So we will see the numericals on this. And the last part is that is motion under gravity. So ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಏನ್ ಮೂರು equations ಇದೆ, that is v is equal to u plus at, s is equal to ut plus half at square, v square minus u square is equal to 2as. ಇದೇನ್ ಮೂರು equations ಇದೆ, this is when the acceleration is moving in the horizontal direction. If the acceleration is towards the gravity ಅಂದ್ರೆ vertical motional object ಇದ್ದಾಗ, here the acceleration a is replaced with acceleration due to gravity g. So ನಮ್ದೇನ್ equation ಇತ್ತು, v is equal to u plus at, a ಇದ್ದಲ್ಲಿ gt ಮಾಡೋಣ, s is equal to ut plus half at square, it is gt square, v square is equal to u square plus 2gs. Okay, ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಸೈನ್ ಕನ್ವೆನ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಏನದು ಸೈನ್ ಕನ್ವೆನ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, if the object is moving in the upward direction, object upward direction ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ your g value will be positive. If the object is moving in the upward direction, the g is taken as negative. If the object is moving in the downward direction, the g value is taken as positive. ಅಂದ್ರೆ towards the earth ಬಂದಾಗ g positive ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, opposite to the earth ಅಂದಾಗ it will be negative. Clear? So this is regarding the equation of motion in terms of acceleration due to gravity. So that only here we have written when we have to take it positive, when we have to take it negative. Then last few points, that is when the object you are throwing it from some height, at this time the initial velocity is considered to be 0. Okay, when you say that you are throwing the object and it will reach the maximum height and it will return back, so e maximum height alli enagatte final velocity will be 0. Yes, so remember these all sign conventions and the concepts. When you say that initially object is at rest, initial velocity is taken as 0. When you say that after applying the brake the vehicle will stop, then the final velocity will be 0. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿ ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ನ್ಯೂಮರಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಷ್ಟು ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. Okay, so clearly understand when g should be positive, when g should be negative, when initial velocity will be 0, when final velocities will be 0. Then one last formula, that is t is equal to under root of t1 into t2 ಅಂತ ಒಂದು formula ಇದೆ. Why it is c? A body is dropped from a tower of height h, reaches after the t seconds on the earth from the same tower, or if second object are thrown with the same velocity u and reach the earth after the t1 and t2 seconds respectively, then the total time is given by t is equal to under root of t1 into t2. So ಎರಡು object ಅನ್ನ simultaneously After some time, if you are throwing first object and second object name throw ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ, the total time interval can be calculated by using under root of t1 into t2 ಅಂತ. Yes, is it clear everyone? So it is almost time up. We can start the MCQs from the next class. So directly we will start the question answers. Formulas revise Madi, motion in a straight line. If you have any doubt, you can ask. Yes, Kirti, Shri, Sukanya. And who is this? Yes. Any doubt is there?
No doubts, ma'am.
Okay. Yes, in the next class, we will continue with the MCQs. Thank you, everyone.